Alright, now lesson 3, I'm going to open a new file. Alright, so I would have it save as lesson 3.html. Have this as HTML like this. Alright, so I haven't done that. I'll just type this and save myself of typing. Alright, so just like we did earlier on, so I have this save as lesson 3. So here I want us to talk about linking, how to link one page to the other, or how to link one website to another website. So pretty much we are talking about hyperlink here. Alright, so the hyperlink is a simple tag in HTML called anchor. So A is a hyperlink. So as simple as this is what is going to help us do the magic. So the A tag has some sort of attributes or some attributes. Let me start introducing it to one after the other. The first thing is href. So the href is, when this is the text that's a visible text that the user will see, that will be clicked on. So when you click on this text right here, he needs to take you somewhere. Where is it taking you? So the href tells us where the destination of the link. So when they click, where is it taking us? Alright, so I will just call this, it's still an example. I'll call it destination dot HTML, or it could be anything. You can link to anything. It mustn't be an HTML page. You can link to a video, you can link to a HTML page, you can link to a website, you can link to an image, you can link to anything. Alright, so but what we're saying here is this is what will be seen. User is not going to see this the destination where it's going, but as soon as he clicks on go to page, this is your intention, where you want it to go, after clicking on this. All right, now since we've created 2 pages earlier on, so I'm going to create two links, and I'll have it go to lesson 1. So go to lesson 1, and then I have another one created, and I say go to lesson 2. Alright, so here remember the name we saved this file with. So we have this one go to lesson 1.html, and this one goes to lesson 2.html. Alright, so let's start with that. Now if I save this now and go to my documents and desktop, I have my HTML5 tutorial. So if I have this open with Chrome. Now I have 2 links. So I have 2 links. Go to lesson 1 and go to lesson 2. Let me have them separated. So let me have them separated. Even though they are like this, they are not separated. So let me separate them with a pipe. So just a pipe on your keyboard, so they can be seen to be different. So we have something here, something here. So when I click on go to lesson 1, it takes me to lesson 1. Probably that is not well spelled. Is not spelled as, oh, is our lesson 1 that is wrongly spelled. We spelled it as triple S. So I'm going to have it resaved. Save it as, it was saved as triple S. So we save it as lesson 1 like that. So it got saved. Now if I refresh this, because so it takes me to the one that we created, so I can use the browser back button to go back and forth. Now I'm back on this lesson 3 now. If I want to go to lesson 2, I have this and it takes me to lesson 2. So what you can do as an exercise I'm giving you right now is on this lesson 2 and lesson 1, create a link here that links back to lesson 3. So when I click here, I come on this page, I can say go back to, you know, lesson 3. That's where you're coming from. So you can have this. So you can have all the links. You can have all these links on all the pages like that. Alright, so this is how we link. This has taken us to that place, and this has taken us to lesson 2. Alright, so let's do some more work on this link. Now, so back to my lesson 3 now. Now, this is telling me where I will be linked to. Okay, the next thing I want to know in the linking is what we call the target. Now, so when you link, you notice that this goes off, and the next page come on top of this, and then this get overridden. All right, so sometimes this is not the behavior that you want. You want this one to be maintained while the next page that is going to opens on a new tab. Okay, so this is usually when you're linking from one server to the other, one website to another website. You don't want a situation where if a user clicks on a link, and an external link, he clicks on it, and then it takes him away from your site entirely, and you might never come back. So what you want is you want to retain the view of your site, and then you equally want to have the new page on a separate link. This is not appropriate when you're doing linking, interlink the pages of your own site yourself, but it's appropriate for an external link for you to open on a new window or a new tab. Alright, so let's see how that is done. So what tells us that is what we call target. So the target tells us where we want that thing to be opened. Alright, so if you want it to open in the same parent, or we want it to be open as self, or we want it to open on a blank page. So let's say I say this and I make it blank. Alright, so if I save that, notice that I refresh this. So this is lesson 1. When I click on it, a new tab got opened. So the other one still retained. Alright, so the user can easily go back and remember that okay, you were still using your site, so you could easily come back there. So you have this one like that. Alright, so that is target blank. So it will open it on a new tab. Alright, so if I use another target, the target could be blank, could be self, could be parent, could be top. Or if you're using a frame, you can put a frame name there. So let's say I have target, which is equals to self. Let's see how this works. Okay, so this is going to open in the same window, so it's not specifically different from what if we don't specify. So we see this one open a tab, and that tab is there, and then we have this one open in the same window. So it's pretty much like we didn't specify a target, because the target override this window, the one that we have before. Alright, so this is a target. Let me open another one. So I'm going to call it lesson 3. So I'm going to have this called lesson 3, lesson 3.html, and say go to lesson 3. Okay, now I can have this open in, let's say, parent. Okay, so parent opens the link document in the parent frame. So if we're working with frames, for instance, now we're going to see frame later on, and this is going to get open. So when we have it like this, so this one opens on a new tab, and then this one opens itself in the same page. Let me equally put a pipe in between this that, so we can have it visibly separated. So when I go to lesson 3, you open in a frame, because we don't have a frame, and this is this means the same page, and we're on lesson 3, and it takes us to lesson 3, so there's no difference. Okay, so these are, some of the attributes that we've got there. Now, so let's link to an external page. This is the page that we created ourselves. So let's say we want to link to Google. So I say I create a BR. And there's something also I want you to know. Horizontal rule, that's HR. Horizontal rule simply just create an horizontal line for us. So when I need an horizontal line, I can just use HR. And so just after that, I want to have a link to Google. So I have a, and then href equals to, now I have to, if I do this, you need to watch google.com. That's where I want it to go. So I say go, say search Google. I save. Now you will notice that something abnormal will happen. So when I say search Google, it thought I'm talking about a google.com page in the same directory that we're working on. So this is how it's going to happen, because I did not specify that it's an external page. And how do I do that? I have to put the HTTP like this. Alright, so this is telling you that you should go through the hypertext transfer protocol to access these resources. So this is how you expire is an external website. You can't just name it like that. If you name it that way, it's going to assume that is a file, is a local file that you have created, and it will be unfound. So if I go back, refresh the page that we got, search to Google, and then this will now take me to Google. This takes me to a live Google. All right, so that's how you link to an external page. And if you don't want this Google to take over your client, so you want it to be open on a new tab, so you can just specify the target attributes and make it open on a blank page. So let it not overwrite your page, so whoever is going there, they are liberty to go there, but then this can still remain there. So now I click on this, it opens on a new tab. Google is there, my page is still here, so my brother, my client, or the user of my website still remembers that my site is there. Alright, so this is also an example of what we call an external tag. So you can link more to maybe to MSN, to Yahoo, and all of that. Okay, so another thing I want us to is linking in between contents. So linking in between contents. So let's say we have another content on this page, and then I want to move from one content to the other. So let's say here I have, let me create another HR. So this one breaks there. So let's say I have heading 1, or let's say I have heading 2. So I have it like that. So then I say section 1. I want to create sections on my page. Section 1. Under this section 1, I have p tag, and under it I have lorem ipsum. I have this lorem there, and for the content to be much, let me have a couple of lorem. So let's say how that appears. So section 1 is here, and let me make the font a bit bigger. We know how to do that. Style equals to, so the font of the entire page. So font size, let me make it like 35, so it's a bit bigger. We can feel it. 35 pixel. The unit is not specified, so it doesn't know what I'm talking about. So now you can see the font size is bigger. So this is section 1. Let me call this section 1. Okay, now so I'm going to create another section, H2, another H2, and I call this one section 2. Now in the section 2, I'll create another paragraph, so I'll call it lorem as well. I'll call it lorem as well. So let me take this down. So I have that like that. Is section 2. So it will open the page. So we have section 1, section 2, and I might want to equally create another section called section 3. So I want to interlink between these pages. So let me have another h3, and I call this section 3, and I copy all the content of that to that. So I have section 3. So I have 3 sections now: section 1, section 2, section 3. So to make each section a bit distinct from the other, I'm going to have them colored. So to have them that way, so I'm just going to create what we call section. So there's a tag in HTML called section. So section means what it says. It just creates a section. So let me say we have a section, and this section ends here. This does nothing for now, other than just creating a kind of container around it. It's not different. So the reason I'm creating this content section is I want to differentiate one from the other. I could have used any other container like paragraph container, and in fact I can just create an element and put them there. So I want in this section now, I want to style this. So I say style equals to, so that each section will be different from the other, so visibly we can see them. And then I'm going to have this background color to be, I'll give it a different background color from the rest. Let me say I give this color. Let me see how, if that looks good. So yes, it's distinct from this. And then let me equally give this, let me create another section. So create a section. Alright, so creating a section on this, so just so that I can just say something that all of them will obey together. So all of them are content of that, so anything I put in here, they will all obey. Alright, that attribute. So the same thing, I'm going to have it styled. So, and I'll have its a background color, and let me give it a different color, turquoise. So if I give that, so I can see that's shown. Alright, so and I'll create another section, this third one. I'm going to give it, so the third section created section, and then I'm going to have this like this. Alright, so in this section now, so this is not correct section, this is sections. You need to be sure that it is correct. Now in this section as well, I have it styled, and then I have a background color, and just a different color from, just to separate itself from the crowd. So I use this color like that. So you can always use the color of your choice. So I just pick some of these colors so you can distinguish them. Now what I want to do is, if I click on, I'm going to create a link here. So I will say go to section 3. So is what I'm linking to is in same is on the same page with my link. Alright, so how do we do that? Okay, now so from section 1, now I want to link to section 3. From section 1 I want to link to section 3. So let's say down here after this paragraph, I say learn more on section 3. So I say, or I can say just learn more. Alright, so when I say this learn more right here, so I have this. Now I may want these fonts to be smaller than the rest, so I can have it small. So I can have hit like that, control S, so I can see that. So it's a bit smaller than the rest, so I can say learn more. So my intention is when a user click on this learn more, you can see that it's not a link yet. It's not behaving like this. This one has a palm, and this one is not a link yet because it's not been linked. But when a user clicks on this, I want it to go to section 3. I want it to scroll down here and go to section 3. So just sit right and see how it's done. Alright, so I can wrap here around the small tag. So I have a, that's anchor tag. So the Ctrl Z. So I have this Ctrl X, and then I have it pasted here. Alright, so it's still not saying anything yet. So I'm going to have to link it. href equals to, I can't say lesson 3 because if I say lesson 3, it's just linking back to this same page. So I have to give something to this section 3 that will make it know that that's the place it needs to go to. So I need to go and create a reference. So I need to come to this section 3. This is section 3, and create something that I can call pretty much like my name is Kenny, if you don't know. So pretty much like I'm calling Kenny. The reason the name Kenny is so that they can make reference to me each time they need to call me. They can call me Kenny. Alright, so here I have ID equals to, I just give it an ID. I can give it anything. So that's its identity of this section 3. So I can call it sec3. So I can call it anything. But why calling it anything? Be careful. Don't put a number first. Just in programming, there's some rules that's of naming variables, and we are going to be seeing that later on. But I'm just going to give you a bit of it now. Don't start an ID name with a number. All right. So you can start it with an alphabet. You can start with an alpha number. What's it called? An underscore. But don't start it with a number. Okay, so you can just have something like this: ID equals to section 3, or you write it as sec3. So this will allow me to target it, so I can target it from another link. So here now, if I want this to go through section 3, I'll come here and put hashtag. Hashtag is used to target an ID. Alright, so I'll use hashtag and I'll say sec3. So it means when you are clicked, don't go to any page, just go to a section on this page. Alright, and that section is called sec3. So when I save that, now I'm going to see some magic happen. So obviously this has become a link. So when I click on it, it takes my view straight to section 3. Alright, so if I want to interlink between sections, I can come here and I say, so let's say learn more, and then here I say, before that, come here and say go to section 1. So let's say section 1. I want section 1 link. Alright, and then I have section 2 link as well. So in the section 1 link, so let me say I have this A. Alright, so that's the text that is visible to the user, and then I am linking it. So I say href equals to something like that. Okay, so the same thing will happen to this. So say I have A, and I have this like that. So I can have it href equals to something. Alright, so I need to go get them prepared. I can't target section 1 now because it doesn't have a name. So I have to go to section 1. This is my section 1, and I will have it an ID. I give it an ID equals to, and I can call it section 1 or sec1 if I want to follow my my convention. So I can just use sec1 like this. Now, having done that, I can then easily target it. So I can say, now to target an ID again, I told you it's going to be an hashtag, and then put your section name, section 1. So the same thing I'm going to do to this sec2, and then I'll go straight to my section 2 as well, and have it named, give it an ID, and I call it sec2. So I have that saved. Now, so if I refresh this, so I can have go to learn more. This takes me here, and here I can have this. This takes me back to section 1. This takes me to section 3. This takes me back to this thing. So I'm linking between within the same document. Okay, linking between the same document is what we've just done. All right. Now, so let's link in the same directory. Now, if you look at the directory of this page, all right, so they are all in the same page. Let's say we have another folder. Let's say we have a folder here. Okay, so and I call this, let's say we call this resources. So what we want to do is to link from this page inside this to a page within this page, within these resources. All right, so if I go there and I create a new file, let's say I create a new file to be linked to, and I save that inside the resources. I call it link sample sample.html, and of course .html like this. I save that. I make that my, so I have this HTML5, and then I have this body. Let me just style it so we were able to know that we are now in another. So I give it a background color, a color that is still visible, let's say yellow, and this is, I just write something here, h1. This is a new page. So if I have that saved, all right, now I want to link from this lesson tree into this link sample. Remember that they are not in the same directory. The link sample is inside resources folder, and then while this one is your base folder, the HTML5 tutorials files. So now I can just easily do that here. So let me say I create another link here, up here. So, and I just call it link sample. All right, so I give it href. So it's similar to what we've been doing. It's just that this one is the same directory as our file, so we don't have to specify the current directory again. But this one, we just specify resources. Href equals to resources. That's the name of the folder. So if there's another folder, we'll name that as well. Then inside it we have link sample, link sample dot html. All right, so we have this saved. Now, so if you refresh this, now up here we have this link sample. Then when we click on it, it takes us to the entire new page that we wrote. So this is how you link from one folder to the other. So all you need to do is just specify the folder name and then the file within that folder. Alright, so this is pretty much some of the things that we need to learn on linking pages. Okay.